Welcome back to the Deep Dive. It is Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. And if you are anything like me, you are probably looking around your living room right now and just breathing this massive collective sigh of relief.
Oh, yeah.
The holiday decorations are finally down, or at least let's hope they are packed away by now. The New Year's resolutions are set, and we are finally settling into the actual rhythm of the new year.
It's that time of year when reality finally sets back in.
It really is.
The festivities are over, and we have to look at the numbers.
Exactly. And for a specific subset of us, the people who track the housing market like it's a fantasy football league, mid-January means something else entirely. It means the real estate hangover numbers are finally in. We've got the year-end data.
It's the moment of truth. We spend all of December just speculating, right? Listening to rumors at holiday parties, hearing anecdotes, but now we actually have the hard data.
No more guessing. And I know you, the listener, you're probably guilty of this too. Maybe you're checking Zillow during a boring budget meeting at work.
Toggling between the spreadsheet and the listings.
Exactly. Or
Right.
You're driving past a sold sign in your neighborhood, one that sat there for months, and you catch yourself wondering, did they actually get that price? Or did they have to slash it?
It's a natural curiosity.
Yeah.
I mean, for most people, their home is their single biggest financial asset. It's their retirement, their kids' college fund.
Their security.
Right. You want to know if the tide is rising or falling because that directly impacts your personal bottom line.
So that is our mission today. We are not just going to throw a spreadsheet at you and call it a day. We want to answer the big question on everyone's mind here in January 2026. Is the market crashing? Is it boring?
Or is it just taking a nap?
Taking a nap. I like that. And to do that, we are zooming in on the North Texas region, but with a very specific magnifying glass on Wise County.
Wise County is the absolute star of the show today, and for good reason. I've brought a stack of reports with me, specifically the North Texas Real Estate Information Systems, or NTREIS, monthly indicators for December 2025, and the Q4 Market Watch reports.
Okay.
And when you dig into Wise County, it tells a story that is quite different from its neighbors.
Yeah.
It's almost behaving like its own little independent economic state.
Different is good. Different is interesting because when I took a preliminary look at the regional numbers you sent over, it felt a little bit like a roller coaster.
It's a fascinating divergence. I mean, we have data on sales, pricing, inventory, and when you break it down county by county, the whole concept of an average just disappears.
Yeah.
You have one nearby county where prices jumped nearly 50%.
50.
And another one right next door where they dropped almost 30%.
That is absolute chaos. That isn't a market, that's a casino. And then sitting right in the middle of all that, you have Wise County.
The wise choice, if you will.
I see what you did there. But before we get to the specifics of Wise, we have to set the stage. Let's look at North Texas as a whole. What is the bold print headline?
The headline is one word: softening. There's just no way around it.
Yeah.
If you look at the macro view for the region in December 2025, the median sales price is down 5.3% to $355,000.
Okay, I want to unpack this immediately because for the last, 5-6 years, the narrative has just been real estate only goes up.
Relentlessly up.
Right. If you bought a house in 2020 or 2021, you felt like a financial genius. Now we're seeing a 5.3% drop. To the average person, that sounds scary. Is this the bubble bursting? Are we in 2008 again?
I wouldn't call it a burst. I'd call it a significant cooling or maybe a necessary correction. You have to look at the context. We hit some incredible, frankly, unsustainable highs.
For sure.
A 5.3% correction brings us back to reality. But it's not a free fall. A crash is usually precipitous double digits in a quarter. Panic selling. We're not seeing that.
Okay.
This is more of a slow exhale after holding our breath for 3 years. But what makes this really fascinating is how it compares to the national picture.
Right, because usually North Texas marches in lockstep with the rest of the country. Or actually, we usually outperform the country.
Usually. But not right now. The National Association of Realtors just released their data, and they're reporting that national existing home prices actually climbed 1.2% year over year.
Wait, hold on, let me get this straight. The rest of the country is going up by 1.2%, and North Texas is going down by 5.3%?
Yeah.
That feels backwards.
It does, doesn't it? The narrative is always that Texas is the economic engine.
Exactly.
People are still moving here for sure, but we're seeing a decoupling of market dynamics. The national market is dealing with extreme inventory tightness. There just aren't enough homes in the Northeast or on the West Coast, so prices stay high.
Right. Buyers are fighting over scraps.
Exactly. North Texas, however, has been building. We have supply. So we're finally seeing prices soften, which ironically means we're becoming more affordable while the rest of the country tightens up.
Affordable is such a loaded word. I feel like every time we say affordable, someone listening who's looking at a mortgage calculator right now just rolls their eyes.
That is a fair critique. Affordable is always relative. But the data actually backs it up this time. This is one of the most important takeaways from the December report, the Housing Affordability Index.
Okay, I want to spend a minute on this because I think people hear index and their eyes glaze over. They think it's just economist jargon. Break this down. What is it and why should I care?
Think of it like a scorecard for the average family's ability to participate in the American dream. An index of 100 is the baseline.
Okay, 100 is the magic number.
Right. If the index is 100, it means a family earning the median income has exactly enough money to qualify for a mortgage on a median-priced home.
So 100 is the Goldilocks number. You have just enough to get the keys.
Correct. If the number's below 100, the average family can't afford the average home. They're priced out. If it's above 100, they have extra breathing room.
So where were we and where are we now? Because I remember the last couple of years feeling very, very tight.
You remember correctly. Last year, this region was sitting at 87.
87.
Which means the average family had only 87% of the income needed to buy a house. They were falling short by a pretty significant margin.
That explains the frustration. The math literally didn't work. You could work hard, save money, and still be 13% short.
Exactly. But now, for December 2025, that index stands at 97.
97.
That is an 11.5% improvement in a single year.
Wow. So we are knocking on the door of 100. We are almost back to that baseline.
We are very, very close. That 5.3% price drop we talked about earlier, this is the silver lining. That drop, combined with some income adjustments, means the market is becoming functional again for the median earner.
So if you were sitting on the sidelines in 2024 thinking, I just can't make the math work, the math has fundamentally changed.
The math has changed. And the other part of that equation is inventory. You can't have true affordability without supply. You need houses to actually buy.
So what are the shelves looking like? Are they empty or are we overflowing? Because usually when prices drop, it's because there's a glut of homes and sellers are desperate.
That's the logical assumption. But the data is a little nuanced here. We look at the month's supply of inventory. For the region, we're at 4.1 months.
4.1.
And interestingly, that is actually down about 2.4% from last year.
Wait, explain month's supply for a second?
Sure. Imagine no new houses came on the market starting today. At the current rate that people are buying homes, how long would it take to sell everything currently for sale? The answer is 4.1 months.
And is 4.1 good, bad, normal?
In a balanced market, where neither the buyer nor the seller has the upper hand, is usually considered to be around 6 months of supply. So at 4.1, technically we are still in a seller's market.
But it doesn't feel like the seller's market of 2022, does it?
Not at all.
It doesn't feel like multiple offers in an hour and waiving inspections.
No, and that's because of the demand side. The
Okay.
supply is there, it's decent, but the buyer frenzy has just evaporated. The panic buying is gone.
I like to think of it like a retail store having a sale. It's not necessarily that the store is drowning in merchandise. It's just that fewer people are walking through the front door, so they have to mark things down.
That is a perfect analogy. The foot traffic has slowed down.
Yeah.
And that brings us right to the core of our discussion today. Because while the broader region is at that 4.1 months figure, there's one county that's painting a very different picture.
Let's pivot to the star of the map, Wise County.
Wise County.
For listeners who aren't familiar, Wise is just northwest of Fort Worth. It's that perfect blend of, I can still commute to the city if I have to, but also...
It's own chickens and not see my neighbor.
Exactly. It's become a real hotspot.
It's the transitional zone between the Metroplex sprawl and the true country. And the data reflects that stability. If we look at the Q4 and December data, specifically for Wise, we see a market that is acting well. Why?
I walked right into that one. Okay, hit me with the price check. The region was down 5.3%. How did Wise hold up?
Wise County's median sales price came in at $355,900.
Okay.
That is a decline, yes, but it is only down 2.8% year over year.
2.8. So it held its value almost twice as well as the general North Texas market.
It did. While the broader region took a harder hit, Wise County experienced a much gentler glide path. It suggests the demand for that specific lifestyle is stickier. It's more resilient.
Stickier is a good word. But what about activity? Are people actually buying, or is everyone just staring at each other?
That's a great question, and the volume tells the real story. Sales activity is incredibly stable. If we look at closed sales for Q4, Wise County had 299 closings,
299.
which is down only 0.3% from the previous year.
0.3%. That's basically a rounding error. That's flat.
It is effectively flat, and that is remarkable when you compare it to other areas seeing huge drops in volume. In Wise County, the transaction velocity hasn't changed. The gears haven't ground to a halt.
But there's always a but. How long does it take to get those deals done? Because I saw the days on market number and I let out a low whistle.
It is a number that requires patience. The days on market, or DOM, for Wise County in Q4 was 84 days.
84 days. That is nearly 3 months.
Almost a full quarter.
So let's role play this. If you are a seller, you put your sign in the yard. 2 weeks go by. Crickets. 4 weeks. Maybe one showing. You start to panic. You think, what's wrong with my house?
And the data says, no, it's just the market structure. That panic is the 2022 mindset talking, where if a house sat for a weekend, it was stale. We have to unlearn that behavior.
Welcome to the slow burn of 2026.
This is a return to a more traditional timeline. You list in January, you might be closing in April. And that's okay.
It's normal.
It's normal. And looking at the supply dynamics in Wise reinforces this. Remember we said the region was at 4.1 months of supply?
Right, which is still technically a seller's market, just a weak one.
Wise County is sitting at 5.5 months of supply.
Oh, wow. So that is almost exactly that 6-month balance number you mentioned.
It is tantalizingly close. Wise County is arguably one of the healthiest, most balanced markets in the entire data set. It's not too hot, not too cold.
It's not a seller's market where buyers are getting abused, and it's not a buyer's market where sellers are losing their shirts.
Equilibrium.
Equilibrium sounds nice, it sounds peaceful, but honestly, it also sounds a little boring compared to the drama happening elsewhere.
Chuckles. Fair enough.
I want to compare Wise to the big dogs. How does the country hold up against the city? Let's talk Dallas and Tarrant.
This is where the analysis gets really interesting. If you look at the Q4 MarketWatch report for the Metro Giants, you see the urban centers taking a much harder hit on activity levels.
Give us the numbers. How much harder?
In Dallas County, closed sales were down 6.2%. Median price was down 1.7% to $357,000.
Okay, down 6.2% in volume.
And in Tarrant County, closed sales were down 5.7%, with prices down almost 3% to $340,000.
So activity, the actual number of deals getting done, is dropping significantly faster in the city than it is in Wise.
That's the takeaway. The urban centers are seeing a sharper drop in volume. This just reinforces the idea of the flight to the exurbs. People are still voting with their moving trucks, and they're voting for space and stability.
Okay, so the city is slowing down, Wise is steady, but you promised me some wild numbers earlier. You mentioned a county where prices went up 50%. Where is this magical land?
Welcome to the outliers. This is the fun part of the data, but it comes with a giant warning label. Let's look at Stevens County.
Stevens County, okay. I'm listening.
In Q4, the median sales price in Stevens County jumped 50.0% to $253,500.
50%. Did they find oil under every house? What happened?
Now, we have to be careful with statistics here. Stevens County is a smaller market. They only had 16 closed sales in the entire quarter.
Ah, the law of small numbers.
Precisely. When you have a sample size that small, 1 or 2 luxury ranch sales can skew the entire average upward. So don't pack your bags for Stevens just yet. But still, a 50% jump is eye-popping.
It definitely catches your attention. What about the other direction? Is anyone crashing?
Well, let's look at Haskell County. This is a true anomaly. Sales volume, the number of houses sold, was up 100%. Doubled. And the median price was up 46.7%. It seems someone discovered Haskell in late 2025.
Someone put Haskell on a viral TikTok video or something, but then we have the neighbor, right? The cautionary tale.
Montague County. This is right next door to Wise. You would think they would behave similarly.
You would think. Geographically, they're cousins.
But Montague saw the median price drop 27.9% to $245,000.
That is a massive correction. Nearly 30% value wiped out in the median transaction. That hurts.
It really does. So we have to ask, why the difference? Wise is down a gentle 2.8%. Montague is down almost 28%. They share a border.
Right. Why? What's going on?
It likely comes down to the buyer profile. Wise County benefits from infrastructure. It's a viable commute to Fort Worth or the Alliance Corridor. It's a primary residence market.
A bedroom community with land.
Exactly. And Montague.
What's their story?
Montague has a lot more recreational property. Second homes, weekend getaways, hunting leases.
Ugh, the toys. Nice to haves.
Exactly. When the economy tightens, what's the first thing you cut? You don't sell the primary home where your kids go to school. You sell the lake house. You sell the hunting cabin.
So Montague is suffering from a correction in discretionary spending, while Wise is protected by the I need a place to sleep before work demand.
That's the leading theory. Wise is a stabilizer because it's essential housing. Montague is seeing the volatility of optional housing.
That makes perfect sense. So Wise is the safe harbor. But let's say I'm convinced. I'm the listener. I want to buy a house in Wise County. I'm writing an offer today. Do I offer full price?
This is the nuts and bolts of the deal. The metric we look at here is percent of original list price received.
How much of their wish list did the seller actually get?
In Wise County for Q4, that number was 92.8%.
92.8. Okay, so quick math. If a house is listed for $400,000, the average seller is accepting about $371,000.
Roughly, yes. It means there is about a 7.2% gap between the sticker price and reality.
That is significant negotiation room. That's a new kitchen.
It is. It tells us that the sticker price right now is just a suggestion. It's a starting point for a conversation, not a mandate.
And how does that compare to the neighbors? Are Dallas sellers more stubborn?
In Dallas, that number is 93.4%. So sellers are holding a little tighter. But if you go out to deep rural areas like Anderson County, the number drops to 86.1%.
86%. That's a clearance sale.
That's a please take this house off my hands market. Wise, again, sits in the middle. You have room to negotiate. But if you go in with an insultingly low offer, you might still lose the deal.
So strategic negotiation. Don't pay sticker, but don't lowball like it's Anderson County.
Exactly. Your agent needs to know these stats.
I want to touch on something else you mentioned, the commute. We said days on market is 84 days in Wise. Is that bad compared to the deeper East Texas counties?
Actually, Wise is moving relatively fast compared to the further out zones. If you look at Van Zandt or Wood counties, beautiful areas but much further from jobs, their days on market have stretched to 92, even 108 days.
Over 100 days. That's painful.
It is. So Wise at 84 days is actually in a sweet spot of velocity. It's slower than the city, but faster than the deep country. It proves that the commute utility is keeping Wise relevant and connected.
It's the Goldilocks zone again.
It really is.
Now, not everyone is buying. A lot of listeners might be thinking, I'm not ready to commit. I want to wait this out. What is the rental market doing?
The single-family rental market is very active. Lease listings are increasing, which gives renters more choice. But prices are holding firm.
What are you talking price-wise?
In the region, average leases are hovering around $2,100 to $2,500. In areas like Wise and Weatherford, we're seeing leases average around $2,034.
So renting isn't exactly cheap, but it offers flexibility if you're waiting to see if interest rates shift.
For many, that flexibility is worth the premium right now.
Speaking of shifting, let's talk about dirt, land. Wise County is semi-rural. Is the land market following the housing market?
No. The land market is telling a much more dramatic story.
Drama, do tell.
In the monthly summary, closed sales for land in the region were down 36%.
36%. That isn't a cooling. That's a cliff.
It is a significant contraction, and it tells me that the speculative buying has completely dried up.
The people who are just buying land to flip it.
They are gone. The land rush of the early 20s is over. But if you're a user, if you actually want to buy 5 acres to build a home, this is excellent news.
Because the competition is gone.
Far less competition. You aren't bidding against investors with all cash offers. The opportunity for a genuine buyer is probably the best it has been in 4 years.
So if you've been dreaming of that custom build in Wise, the land might be the easiest part of the equation right now.
It certainly seems that way. The frenzy has left the building.
So let's bring this all together. If you had to summarize the State of the Union for Wise County in January 2026, how would you paint the picture?
I would say Wise County is the stability anchor of North Texas right now. While the region is softening by 5%, Wise is holding steady at neck to 2.8%. While supply is tight elsewhere, Wise is perfectly balanced at 5.5 months.
It avoided the boom and bust volatility we saw in places like Haskell or Montague.
It did. It's a mature, resilient market. It's not flashy, but in 2026, boring is beautiful. Stability is wealth.
Boring is beautiful. I think I'm going to embroider that on a pillow.
It's true, though. In investment terms, low volatility is exactly what you want in a primary asset. You want to sleep at night.
Before we let our listeners go, though, I know you always like to leave us with a provocative thought to chew on. What are you watching for next month?
I am watching that days on market number like a hawk. We're at 84 days in Wise. The region is at 73. That number has been creeping up steadily.
The slow creep.
Right. My question is, at what point does patience turn into stagnation?
What do you mean by that?
Right now, at 84 days, sellers are calm. They know it takes time. But if we come back here in April and that number is hit 100 days or 110 days,
The psychology changes.
the psychology of the seller changes completely. At 100+ days, that's when you start seeing desperation. That's when you see aggressive price cuts because sellers are carrying 2 mortgages.
The market shifts from balanced to distressed.
Exactly. We aren't there yet. But if that number keeps ticking up, we might be looking at a very different conversation about seller leverage in the spring.
So keep an eye on the calendar. If the for sale signs in your neighborhood start gathering too much dust, the deals might be getting better.
Exactly. Time is the enemy of the seller and the friend of the buyer.
Fascinating stuff. Well, there you have it. The January 2026 outlook. Wise County is steady, the region is cooling, and affordability is finally making a comeback.
It's a good time to be paying attention.
It definitely is. Thank you for walking us through the numbers. And to you, the listener, go enjoy the rest of your January. Check the prices in your own neighborhood. You might be surprised. And we will see you on the next Deep Dive.
Goodbye, everyone.
That's it.